Nathan West's miraculous return from the dead has sent shockwaves through Port Charles. But beneath the surface of this joyous reunion lies a web of deception that threatens to tear apart the very family it should be healing. As Nathan reconnects with his son James at General Hospital, what should be a touching father-son moment has instead become the epicenter of a mystery that could destroy everyone involved. The meeting between Nathan and James appears picture perfect on the surface. The boy, who has lived his entire life without his father, finally has the chance to bond with the man he's only heard about in stories. They share sodas, laugh together, and discover they both love orange and grape flavors, a seemingly innocent detail that should warm any parent's heart. Nathan's words to his son are tender. "It's like I went to bed imagining what my son would be like, only to wake up to the best present ever." Yet even in this touching scene, something feels fundamentally wrong. James, despite his youth, possesses an intuition that defies explanation. Though he has never met his biological father, Nathan died before James was born. The boy seems to sense that something is amiss with this man claiming to be his parent. This unsettling awareness creates an undercurrent of tension that even the most heartwarming moments cannot dispel. Britt's growing suspicions. Dr. Britt Westburn has emerged as the unlikely guardian angel in this unfolding drama, though her motivations run deeper than simple sisterly concern. From the moment she laid eyes on Nathan in the hospital, Britt's behavior has been anything but celebratory. Where others see a miracle, a beloved family member returned from the dead, Britt sees something far more sinister. Her reaction to Nathan's return has been telling in its restraint. The woman who should be overjoyed to have her brother back instead maintains a careful distance, watching with visible concern as Nathan interacts with James. When Felicia Scorpio and Damian Spinelli prepared to introduce James to his father, Britt immediately intervened, citing concerns about rushing the reunion and questioning whether Maxie would approve of such hasty decisions. Britt's attempts to delay the meeting were strategic rather than cautious. She suggested consulting a child therapist, proposed waiting another day, and even questioned the appropriateness of the reunion given Maxie's current condition. These weren't the suggestions of an overprotective aunt, but rather the calculated moves of someone who knows far more than she's revealing. The most telling moment came when James managed to slip away and meet Nathan on his own. As the father and son bonded over their shared love of sodas, Britt watched from the sidelines with an expression that spoke volumes. Her face showed not joy or relief, but deep concern and what can only be described as fear. The mystery of false recognition. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of this entire situation is James's inexplicable ability to sense that Nathan isn't his real father. This knowledge shouldn't be possible. James was born after Nathan's death and has no memories or experiences to draw upon for comparison. Yet somehow, this young boy has tapped into something that the adults around him have missed. This supernatural awareness suggests that whatever deception is being perpetrated runs deeper than simple physical impersonation. If Nathan's DNA and fingerprints check out, as they reportedly have, then the person in that hospital bed is either the real Nathan, with significant alterations to his personality and memories, or someone whose identity has been so thoroughly reconstructed that even scientific verification confirms their false claims. James's revelation to Britt that this isn't his real father creates a shocking moment of validation for her suspicions. The boy's innocent declaration transforms Britt's concerns from paranoid speculation into potential fact, setting the stage for a dangerous investigation that could expose a conspiracy reaching far beyond Port Charles. The legacy of Caesar Faison. The shadow of Caesar Faison looms large over this mystery, providing a potential explanation for the sophisticated deception at play. Faison's history of mind control experiments, identity manipulation, and posthumous influence through preserved technology creates a framework for understanding how Nathan could be both genuine and false simultaneously. Theories abound that Faison's death in 2018 was merely another elaborate ruse, allowing the criminal mastermind to continue his experiments from the shadows. His obsession with controlling his children, Nathan and Britt, provides ample motivation for orchestrating their returns to Port Charles as part of a larger scheme. If Faison has indeed preserved his consciousness through advanced technology, as some speculate, then Nathan's return could represent the culmination of years of preparation. The real Nathan might be trapped within his own body, while if Faison-influenced personality controls his actions, explaining both the positive DNA results and James's instinctive rejection of this father. Alternatively, Nathan could be an entirely different person, possibly Peter August, Nathan's brother, who has undergone extensive plastic surgery and memory implantation to assume Nathan's identity. This theory gains credence when considering Faison's previous experiments with identity manipulation and the convenient timing of Nathan's return following other mysterious resurrections in Port Charles. Britt's dangerous investigation. Armed with James's shocking revelation, Britt faces an impossible choice. She can either expose what she believes to be a dangerous imposter, potentially shattering her mother's joy and traumatizing James in the process, or she can remain silent and allow this deception to continue, putting everyone she loves at risk. Britt's decision to investigate Nathan's true identity sets her on a collision course with forces far more dangerous than she realizes. Her recent experience with mysterious captors and forced medical research has already demonstrated that powerful individuals are operating in the shadows of Port Charles, and her probing into Nathan's background could draw their attention once again. The investigation will likely reveal connections between Nathan's return and the broader conspiracy that has touched so many lives in Port Charles. Britt's own resurrection, the mysterious experiments she was forced to conduct, and the shadowy figures pulling strings behind the scenes all point to a coordinated effort to manipulate the residents of this troubled town. As Britt delves deeper into the mystery, she must navigate between protecting James from a potentially dangerous situation and preserving what little stability remains in her family. Her mother Liesel's overwhelming joy at Nathan's return makes the situation even more precarious, as exposing the truth could devastate the woman who has already lost so much. The custody battle intensifies. Nathan's desire to gain custody of James adds urgency to Britt's investigation. _query. With Maxie in a coma and unable to make decisions about her son's welfare, Nathan presents himself as the logical choice for guardianship. His position as James's biological father, at least on paper, gives him significant legal standing in any custody proceedings. However, Britt's intervention promises to complicate matters considerably. Her medical expertise and close relationship with the family provide her with both the knowledge and the standing to challenge Nathan's fitness as a parent. If she can prove that Nathan is not who he claims to be, it would not only protect James, but potentially expose a conspiracy that threatens the entire community. The custody battle becomes more than just a legal dispute. It represents a fight for James's very soul. If Nathan is indeed an imposter with malicious intent, gaining custody would give him complete control over a vulnerable child. The implications extend beyond simple guardianship to questions of safety, identity, and the preservation of family bonds that transcend biological connections. Spinelli's heartbreak over potentially losing his role as James's father figure adds another layer of complexity to the situation. The man who has served as James's de facto parent since birth now faces displacement by someone whose very identity remains in question. This emotional triangle creates additional pressure on all involved, making rational decision-making even more challenging. The unraveling truth. As Britt's investigation progresses, the carefully constructed facade surrounding Nathan's return begins to show cracks, small inconsistencies in behavior, gaps in memory, and James's continued insistence that something is wrong all contribute to a growing sense that Port Charles is once again under assault by forces beyond their understanding. The revelation of Nathan's true identity promises to have far-reaching consequences for everyone involved. If he is indeed an imposter, the emotional devastation to Liesel, who has embraced her son's return with desperate joy, could be catastrophic. The impact on James, who is just beginning to form a relationship with this potential father figure, could shape his ability to trust and form relationships for years to come. More broadly, the exposure of this deception could reveal the extent of the conspiracy operating within Port Charles. If Nathan's return is part of a larger plan involving Faison's legacy, other resurrections, and ongoing experimental programs, then the entire community remains at risk. Britt's investigation may be the key to unraveling a web of deception that threatens not just her family, but everyone she cares about. Next, we will learn about the intriguing possibility of a long-lost Casadini family member rising from the shadows to shake up Port Charles once more. In the dramatic world of General Hospital, the trope of characters defying death has become a staple that keeps fans on the edge of their seats, weaving through storylines like a persistent ghost from the show's earliest days. Over the last year alone, we've seen echoes of this resurrection magic in unexpected twists, such as shadowy figures emerging from presumed graves to reignite old feuds and spark new alliances. This recurring theme isn't just a plot device. It's a nod to the soap's enduring love for second chances and dramatic reveals that pull at the heartstrings of loyal viewers. Imagine the chills it sends down spines when a character thought buried forever steps back into the limelight, carrying secrets that could unravel the entire fabric of Port Charles society. From Jason Morgan's multiple miraculous survivals to the enigmatic returns of figures like Franco Baldwin, these comebacks often signal major upheavals, hinting at buried treasures, hidden motives, and family legacies clawing their way to the surface. As we delve deeper, one can't help but wonder if this pattern is poised to strike again, especially with whispers of familiar names bubbling up in recent episodes, teasing a revival that could redefine power dynamics in the iconic town. The Casadini dynasty, once a formidable force of intrigue and opulence in Port Charles, now lingers in a state of fragile disarray, its branches pruned by tragedy, imprisonment, and the relentless march of time. Nicolas Casadini, the once charismatic heir, finds himself locked away behind bars, his freedom curtailed by scandals that have painted him as both victim and villain in the eyes of the law. Valentin Casadini, the cunning outsider who clawed his way into the family fold, shares a similar fate, confined and scheming from afar, his influence reduced to mere rumors filtering through the prison walls. Spencer Casadini, the young firebrand with a rebellious streak, is tragically presumed lost to the depths, his disappearance leaving a void that echoes the family's storied losses. Generations of Casadinis, from the tyrannical Stavros to the enigmatic Helena Have, faded into history's dusty tomes, their absence is felt in every lavish mansion room and shadowy boardroom deal. Yet, amidst this thinning lineage, glimmers of connection persist. Alexis Davis, with her sharp legal mind and unyielding resolve, carries the bloodline through her daughters. Christina Corinthos Davis, whose fiery spirit mirrors the family's passionate turmoil, and Molly Lansing Davis, the poised professional whose quiet strength belies her inherited resilience. Charlotte Casadini, the spirited young girl tied to Valentine, embodies the next wave. But the archaic Casadini edicts dismiss female heirs, locking them out of the throne despite their undeniable ties. This leaves baby Ace Casadini as the unwitting torchbearer, a tiny figure whose innocent eyes hold the weight of an empire's future, vulnerable to the vultures circling the family's vast fortune and forbidden knowledge. But what if the Casadini revival isn't confined to blood alone? What if an adoptive thread, woven through forgotten adoptions and whispered family lore, pulls a spectral figure back from oblivion to claim her place? Enter the tantalizing prospect of Catherine Bell, a name that evokes the glittering excess of the 1990s, whose death has long been etched in Port Charles' memory as a tragic footnote to a life of glamour and betrayal. Though neither Stefan Casadini's iron-fisted control nor Nicolas's youthful impulses ever formalized her bond to the clan, Catherine's orbit around the family was undeniable, marked by steamy romances, cutthroat rivalries, and moments of raw vulnerability that captivated audiences. Recent dialogues have ignited fresh speculation. Ned Quartermain, ever the suave businessman with a nostalgic bent, casually invoked her memory during a tense family gathering at the Quartermain estate, his words laced with a hint of unresolved sorrow that made fans pause and rewind. This isn't mere coincidence. Ned and Catherine's portrayers share a storied past from the sun-soaked drama of Days of Our Lives, where chemistry sizzled across screens, suggesting a meat nod to potential crossovers that could blend worlds in explosive fashion. Adding fuel to the fire, Lois Trujillo, Ned's vibrant ex with her Brooklyn flair and unfiltered honesty, recently recounted the chilling tale of how Reginald Jennings, the steadfast Quartermain butler whose loyalty masked darker deeds, slipped poison into Catherine's drink during a lavish soiree gone awry. This revelation, dropped amid gossip over martinis, paints Reginald not just as a servant, but as a shadowy enforcer. His actions, perhaps tied to Casadini manipulations that reached even into the Quartermain sphere. Catherine's potential return wouldn't be a simple stroll down memory lane. It could unleash a torrent of reimagined drama, forcing old wounds to fester anew while introducing layers of intrigue tailored for today's fast-paced narratives. Picture her emerging not as the wide-eyed ingenue of yesteryear, but as a battle-hardened survivor, her demise revealed as a cunning ruse orchestrated to escape the Casadini's toxic web, perhaps faked with the aid of a loyal confidant or a black market doctor versed in the family's illicit dealings. In Port Charles, her rival might coincide with a storm brewing over Ace's custody, where Catherine positions herself as a guardian aunt by proxy. leveraging dusty adoption papers to challenge the status quo and expose hidden clauses. In the Casa Dini will that favor overlooked relatives. Her ties to Alexis Davis run deeper than shared social circles. They stem from late-night confidences during Catherine's turbulent marriage to Stefan, where Alexis offered legal counsel that blurred lines between friend and family, potentially harboring secrets about suppressed DNA tests that could upend Christina and Molly's lives. And then there's Ned, whose dual weddings to Lois and Catherine created a comedic yet chaotic tapestry envisioned Catherine crashing back into town, cake crumbs metaphorically flying as she demands answers about that infamous wedding cake escapade, where Lois burst forth in a feathered gown, declaring herself the real Mrs. Ashton and sparking a feud that divided high society. Lewis's bold introduction wasn't just slapstick, it symbolized the clash of worlds, with Catherine's poised elegance pitted against Lewis's street-smart sass, a rivalry that could reignite with Catherine accusing Lois of knowing more about the poisoning than she lets on, perhaps implicating Ned in a cover-up to protect his burgeoning music career as Eddie Main. Even as Stefan and Nicholas remain exiled from the Port Charles son of Stefan's ghostly influence, lingering in coded messages from his cell, Nicholas plotting escapes that teased larger comebacks. Catherine's path could intersect with fresher blood, injecting vitality into the Casa Dini saga. Cody Bell, the rugged horseman with a heart of gold and a penchant for family loyalty, stands as her adoptive sibling through the enigmatic Bell family upbringing, a connection forged in the stables and secrets of rural Wyoming before Port Charles called. Raised by the Bells after a childhood shrouded in mystery, Cody and Catherine shared stolen moments of sibling rivalry, racing horses at dawn, whispering dreams under starlit skies, only for her to vanish into the Casa Dini vortex, leaving him with fragmented tales of glamour and danger. If Catherine materializes alive, her revelation might initially warm Cody's guarded soul, prompting heartfelt reunions at the stables where he teaches her to saddle up again, reminiscing about their adoptive parents' tales of resilience. Yet, the soap's signature twists demand conflict. Cody, scarred by his own betrayals and wary of the Casa Dini's poisonous legacy, could recoil upon learning of Catherine's entanglements, refusing to embrace her as kin and instead allying with the Quartermaines to shield Ace from her ambitions. This rift might manifest in explosive confrontations, like a midnight showdown at the Metro Court where Catherine pleads her case, only for Cody to brand her a Casa Dini ghost haunting the innocent, his rejection fueling her determination to reclaim her stake through legal battles or clandestine pacts. Such dynamics wouldn't just revive Catherine, they'd catalyze a broader Casa Dini renaissance, drawing in Alexis for courtroom clashes, Lois for witty barbs, and even Ned for a romantic rekindling laced with suspicion, all while baby Ace gurgles obliviously at the epicenter of unfolding chaos. Next, we will learn about the intricate and explosive family tree of Liesel Obrecht, a cornerstone of Port Charles' endless web of intrigue and hidden truths. In the bustling world of General Hospital, where alliances shift like sand and secrets burrow deep into the heart of every storyline, Liesel Obrecht stands as a formidable matriarch whose lineage pulses with danger, redemption, and unforeseen twists that keep viewers glued to their screens. Her family saga, now amplified by the dramatic reappearance of Nathan West and the miraculous revival of Britt Westburn, intertwines with Nina Reeves' own turbulent path, creating a tapestry of deception that could redefine loyalties across the town. Imagine a legacy built on clandestine affairs and bold deceptions, where every branch reveals not just blood ties but battles for survival. And Power Leo's story is the ultimate soap opera symphony of chaos and connection, diving deeper into Liesel's origins. Her notorious entanglement with the villainous Caesar Phazon forms the shadowy foundation of her dynasty, a union marked by espionage, passion, and the kind of moral ambiguity that fuels Port Charles' most gripping arcs. Phazon, that enigmatic figure of espionage and heartbreak, fathered children with Liesel amid a backdrop of international intrigue, including covert operations that once threatened the very fabric of the Casa Dini empire, adding layers of geopolitical tension to what seemed like a simple romance gone awry. This scandalous past wasn't just a fleeting chapter, it echoed through decades, influencing Liesel's decisions as a mother and manipulator. From her time as chief of staff at General Hospital to her underground alliances that skirted the edges of legality. As Phazon's ghost lingers in family lore, it prompts questions about inherited traits. Will his cunning resurface in the next generation, perhaps through a hidden heir or a long-buried artifact that surfaces during a routine excavation? At the Quartermaine mansion, Liesel's evolution from Fazen's accomplice to a fiercely protective guardian showcases her complexity, blending ruthless ambition with unexpected tenderness, especially as recent events force her to confront the fallout of those early choices in ways that ripple into current hospital boardroom skirmishes. At the core of Liesel's chaotic realm are her children, each a testament to her resilient yet perilous spirit, starting with Britt Westburn, the sharp-witted cardiologist whose life reads like a thriller novel, penned by the town's own drama queens. Born from Liesel's high-stakes affair with Fazen, Britt's journey has been a roller coaster of professional triumphs and personal betrayals, including her infamous fake death orchestrated to evade the clutches of the mysterious Five Poppies organization, a cult-like group with ties to Fazen's old network, now rumored to be plotting a comeback through encrypted messages intercepted by Sonny Corinthos' associates. Her resurrection not only stunned Port Charles, but also ignited a firestorm of emotional reckonings for Liesel, who grappled with guilt over pushing Britt into the Deception Cosmetics scandal, where corporate espionage and beauty industry sabotage nearly destroyed her daughter's career. Adding fresh intrigue, Britt's recent encounters with an amnesiac patient at the hospital have sparked theories of a doppelganger plot, where a Fazen lookalike could be manipulating events from the shadows, forcing Britt to question her own identity and loyalties. Through it all, Britt emerges as a symbol of survival, her medical expertise now pivotal in treating a wave of mysterious ailments plaguing the elite, from Windermere to the Metro Court. Tying her expertise directly to family redemption arcs. Equally compelling is Nathan West, Liesel's son whose path was shrouded in secrecy from the start, raised by her scheming sister Madeline Reeves to conceal his true paternity and shield him from Fazen's dangerous world. Presumed dead since that fateful 2018 showdown, Nathan's explosive return verified through cutting-edge DNA analysis, conducted in a secret WSB lab, has shattered the fragile peace in Port Charles, bringing amnesia that erases years of memories and reopens old wounds. This twist not only tests his bond with Maxie Jones, whose coma has left their shared history in limbo, but also introduces new conflicts, like Nathan's unwitting involvement in a black market artifact ring linked to Fazen's artifacts, which could draw him into clashes with the Casadinis. Liesel's initial fury at the deception fallout and Nathan's fragmented recall creates a powder keg. Imagine family therapy sessions at Shady Brook turning into interrogations, where suppressed memories bubble up, revealing Nathan's hidden role in a past assassination attempt on a key player like Anna Devane. As siblings, Britt and Nathan's dynamic, forged in survival and strained by omission, holds the potential for unity against external threats, such as a resurgent Five Poppies faction targeting Obrecht bloodlines. Or it could splinter further if Nathan's amnesia uncovers a betrayal that implicates Liesel directly. Their reunion promises heartfelt moments amid the mayhem, perhaps culminating in a joint mission to protect Port Charles from an impending crisis. Blending action with the emotional depth that defines GH's family narratives, weaving through this intricate setup is Nina Reeves, Liesel's niece rather than daughter, a revelation that has fueled their aunt-niece rapport with layers of misunderstanding and unbreakable solidarity. Daughter of Madeline Reeves, Nina grew up alongside Nathan under the illusion of siblinghood, only for the veil to lift in a cascade of courtroom dramas and therapy revelations that expose the family's deceptive core. This cousin connection to Britt sparks a volatile chemistry, amplified by Nina's own saga of twin daughters Willow Tate, the resilient nurse entangled in Metro Court intrigues, and the late Nell Benson Jerome, whose schemes from beyond the grave continue to haunt through hidden wills and surprise beneficiaries. Nina's role as stepmother to Charlotte Casadini, via her turbulent romance with Valentine, extends Liesel's influence into the Casadini fold, where Charlotte's precocious antics know, including a schoolyard feud that mirrors adult power struggle, schooled bridge or burned family bridges. As Aunt Nina to James West, Nathan's young son, she remains woven into the Obrecht tapestry, her media empire at Crimson Magazine often clashing with Liesel's medical domain, leading to alliances against common foes like a rival publisher with ties to old Fazen enemies. Madeline's legacy of manipulation, from forging documents to stage Nathan's upbringing, casts a long shadow, prompting Nina to delve into ancestry research that uncovers a forgotten Obrecht relative. A distant cousin with WSB credentials might hold keys to resolving ongoing vendettas. This niece dynamic enriches the plot, showing how shared trauma fosters resilience. With Nina's bold decisions, like launching a podcast on Port Charles secrets, potentially exposing more family skeletons in upcoming episodes. The true gems of Liesel's lineage shine brightest in her grandchildren, whose youthful energies inject fresh drama and high-stakes speculation into the Obrecht saga, turning generational conflicts into must-watch television. James West, the bright-eyed son of Nathan and Maxie Jones, navigates uncharted waters as he meets his father for the first time, with Damian Spinelli stepping in as a quirky, tech-savvy surrogate dad whose hacking skills have already thwarted a kidnapping plot aimed at the boy. This upheaval could forge unbreakable bonds or ignite jealousies, especially as James displays early signs of inherited cunning, like decoding a family cipher that reveals a hidden trust fund tied to Faison. Then there's Rocco Falconeri, Britt's adopted son, to the ethically murky embryo theft from Lulu Spencer and Dante Falconeri, linking Liesel irrevocably to the Spencer clan and their endless cop family feuds. Rocco's personal traumas, from witnessing shootouts at the PCPD to coping with Lulu's cryogenic stasis, add emotional weight, positioning him as a pawn in larger games. Fan theories buzz about him inheriting a Spencer heirloom that sparks a custody battle overlapping with the Quartermain estate disputes. Charlotte Casadini rounds out this trio of grandkids, her rebellious streak under Valentin's influence promising clashes with James and Rocco, perhaps in a school alliance against a bully with ties to the Demera family. Crossover rumors. Speculation runs wild on whether these young ones, James with his inventive gadgets, Rocco's athletic prowess, and Charlotte's diplomatic charm, will rally the Obrechts against threats like Valentin's daring prison escape, which involved a helicopter heist and insider guards, or fuel internal wars amid the intensifying Quartermain battle against the shadowy Veronica Ronnie Bard, a corporate raider eyeing ELQ shares. As Maxie remains in her coma, these grandchildren become beacons of hope, their interactions hinting at future alliances that could heal old rifts or unleash a new era of Obrecht dominance in Port Charles. With Liesel at the helm, watching her legacy unfold through these vibrant heirs promises twists that blend heartwarming reunions with pulse-pounding betrayals, keeping the soap spirit alive.